Hello everyone, we're back. Welcome to BossTalk, and we are in the second half of this 2020, and I feel like I can't wait. I'm excited because big things are happening, and it's going to be an awesome second half of the year. Thanks again for stopping by, guys. We've got a great guest that we've brought on. I couldn't think of anybody better to be on the show. To talk more about, expectations for this next half in regards to small businesses, what they can do, and what we can do post quarantine. Now, let's hope there isn't another quarantine, but if there is, well, what are we going to do about it? So, without further ado, Joe McKee is on the show. Joe is basically the owner of Invoteq, which is a business development service. So. Joe, thank you so much for coming on here. I watch a lot of your YouTube and your Facebook posts and stuff for where we're at and what's going on. You're a great guest to kind of bring the energy, bring the business mindset to a lot of small businesses who need it, who really need it, because this is my first quarantine or getting out of one, and one of the challenges we had in real estate was nobody knew what was going to happen at the first part. So my mindset was to stay focused and focused on the destination. Yeah. Whether that destination had obstacles to get to, that's okay. We go around those obstacles. But with that being said, tell us a little bit about Invoteq before we get into a lot of this stuff here.
First off, I want to say there are 3 million businesses that are gone. So it's important, that's the conversation we're having. So Invoteq is a business solutions company. We help businesses survive and thrive in today's new economy. The economy has changed. We have 13 different solutions that we go to market with. Everything from point of sale technology that eliminates credit card processing fees completely for the small to mid-sized business owner, right? We have all the latest technology that you can tap or waive your credit cards, Apple Pay, Android Pay, etc. We have a complete digital agency, a whole division that around digital agency that main focus is to drive traffic in the front door of businesses and or provide them more or higher quality leads, which is obviously needed.
Absolutely.
We have technology that I think is real important now, by the way. We have technology that allows small business owners to create a rainy day fund without feeling the pinch.
Yeah. You're advising folks to work smarter, basically, not harder, using technology.
That's correct. And with that being said, our business is a Invoteq, innovative technologies, right? So it's using the latest technology to run your business more effective and efficient.
Gotcha.
And that's the world we live in. So that's who we are. That's what we do. Our rallying call is we're merchant advocates. We're out there on Main Street, side by side, in the trenches, right, with the small to mid-sized business owner, and we're out there trying to provide real value. We're trying to provide real assistance. So we're side by side,
You're providing help.
Absolutely. And
to the fellow business owner.
That's right, and that's our rallying call. We have no startup fees. We have no contracts. We provide $1,000 free to our new clients when they come on for new technology consultation or whatnot. So we're about assisting or helping what we consider the heartbeat or the backbone of our country, which is the small to mid-sized business owner.
Absolutely. I love it. So why Invoteq? Well, give us the background of how this started. Because real quick, before you guys, before you start, I know Joe from college, and watching him grow, his energy, his style, it's a lot. I feed off of that because it's a lot like me in some sense. But there's a funny quick story that before you get in there, we were
probably plenty of those.
Oh yeah. We were going to go out one night, and we were trying to gather everybody up to go do this. And me and another friend, Kendra, we went and knocked on your door, and in the dorm rooms, you had 4 roommates, 3 roommates, so it was 4 in there, and everybody's ready to go. And you were still in the bathroom. You were ready to go. You were just checking your hair out, and you're like, all right, I'm ready to go. So we were like, come on, guys, let's get going. So we're walking out, and you stop. And you said, hold on. And you were real serious about it. And we were like, oh, did he forget his keys? Did he forget his wallet?
Yeah.
And you run back to the bathroom and you go back to the mirror and you pick the brush up and you comb your hair like one more time real quick and you look and then you throw the brush in the sink and you say, that's it. That's as good as it's going to get.
Yeah.
And then you're like, let's go, guys. And we kind of pause and was like, really? But that little comment that you made has stuck with me so much. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you looked at yourself and you said, that's it. That's as good as it's going to get. And that's mindset. That's life. That's confidence. You're going out and you're saying, yep, this is as good as it's going to get. Let's go. Let's do this. And I'm like, man, that's it, no matter what. That's it, guys. That's as good as it's going to get. If I'm writing this paper, if I'm doing a contract, if I'm doing what I can, this is for me. This is as good as it's going to get. Yeah. I'm happy with it. I'm fine with it. Boom. Yeah. Let's go. So anyway, that's my little story on that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So why Invoteq? I mean, why did you start it?
So I come from a different industry originally, and a little story about that is when I left college, I was raised by my grandparents, so I started building a relationship with my dad, which lived in Indianapolis, right? So something really cool happened, and this influenced me, and he's influenced me. He had a little company that had about 20 employees, and over, 15 years or so, that company grew into 240 employees.
Wow.
And we were the 6th or 9th largest home improvement replacement window company in the country. So I had this 15-year internship, and I was around a lot of great mentors, which I think is really important. I was around a guy named Rick Meyer that influenced me. I was around probably the greatest salesperson that I think I've ever seen. I was around one of the greatest sales forces that was ever put together. My dad allowed me to be around accountants and study the numbers and understand how this all works and how it all fits together. So this will go into why I did this, but my dad put me in positions that maybe there was a better person or better fit, but he allowed me to be in that position to mold me and to develop me
to see the whole
on
business,
the full circle.
Yeah.
And I learned business.
Yeah.
So I didn't finish college, but when I left there, I had this amazing opportunity, and I didn't really realize it at the time. So I made some life changes, whatnot, and then it's how I got into this industry. I took a leap of faith.
Yeah.
I wasn't from the industry. Now I've started and owned 6 or 7 businesses, and it's all been from the education that I received there, and it's been paramount.
You gotta take risks.
Yeah.
And learn from those if they're bad ones. And I don't think there's no such thing as a bad risk. You learn. Everything's a win-win. I have to
win or you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Either win or learn, man.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
So, but what's kind of cool is what I'm hearing is your dad, which was really great. He had you basically in the whole process of running a business, giving you a little bit of training and experience on all of it, not just one piece.
So I started off for $200. So I come out Morehead, I made $200.
Yeah.
Sweeping the warehouse.
Yeah.
And then we had windows, big warehouse, but I didn't organize and whatnot. And as this company, at the time you didn't realize it, but it was this big crescendo, right?
Yeah.
Over the years.
Yeah.
Then as the company grew, it kind of just pulled me along with it. And so I went from sweeping the warehouse, making $205 to owning 49% of it. And I promise you, my dad doesn't, he don't do good at giving compliments.
Yeah.
You're going to work for it. I'm not giving you anything for free. You're going to have to work twice as hard. When I went into sales, you'd think I'd get like a little salary straight commission, buddy. So he forged me and molded me, but it was baptism by fire too. So
when
I've used that in 100 businesses now, is what I'm saying.
I was going to say, how cool is it to say to somebody, hey, I swept floors for $200, and this is what we do now. And that's okay. That's great. Somebody has to sweep floors. There's I don't know if I mentioned this in a podcast before, but and I had a test. It's one of my finals. I got a degree in business, and the bonus question was worth, I think, 20 points, which was huge.
Okay, right.
The question was what is the name, first and last name of the custodian that works at the school?
Yeah.
And I didn't know. And I see this person every single
Yeah.
day. Saw him every day.
Yeah.
And the moral of the story is it doesn't matter if you're the CEO or the custodian. Everybody has a piece, and everybody's piece is important to that business. So I'll never forget that. Never ever forget that.
There's a lobbyist. I'm not going to put his name out. Right here in your community, big time. You know, my family was in the horse racing business for years. My dad, whatnot. I was kind of a cheerleader. But anyways, big lobbyist guy, and it didn't matter if he met you one time or you was his best friend. Once he met you, he memorized your name.
Wow.
And he would come up to you and he'd say, "Oh, hey, Joe McKee, how are you?" And you're like, "Whoa," you know. Very powerful guy, but I took something from that, and I try to do that. I'm not the best at it.
Yeah.
So my point is, if there's a custodian or if there's a guy mucking the stall, I want to say, "Hey, so-and-so,"
Yep.
you know, that's how you
day.
build relationships. And I
Yes.
want to build a relationship with the guy mucking the stall, and I want to build the relationship with the CEO, right?
It has to be done.
Network.
Has to be
Network,
done. Has to be done. So that's great. Let me see.
I hope I answered that okay.
I think you did. I think that's great. So now we're out of quarantine, and you know, businesses are. I'm not going to say they're struggling. They're having to change, and that's okay. That's great.
Yeah.
And we all have to change, and change is good. When you know you learn from that, and you can always say to somebody 10, 15 years ago, when I'm not going to say they're complaining, but they're struggling with whatever. Hey, did you go through a quarantine and survive?
Yeah.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
You know, so can you tell us, from a business development, from a business mindset, what can we do, or what can small businesses do to move forward?
Well, first off, when you say that, this is not the answer that people want to hear, but times like we're going through, there's an old saying I had, forges your metal and tempers your steel.
Love it.
Okay, so the first thing that on the heels of this, as I'm hoping getting to the end of it, they need to understand that this will not be the last crisis that their business has to go through to survive. Period.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's the first thing. And this, you know, earlier we were talking before the podcast. There's 3 million businesses, or maybe I said that at the beginning. There's 3 million businesses. Think about that. There are 3 million businesses that are gone. They're not open up their doors.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say they weren't prepared. What's Benjamin Franklin say? He says, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Right?
Yep.
Something like that, right? So they weren't prepared. So what can you do? So the days of companies like we used to have, of 200 plus employees, this big barge that you're trying to move on the river when you see or anticipate something coming, I think it's a bad business model. Not unless you have so much revenue that it is what it is. I think in today's market, you have to be nimble. I think you have to be fast. I think you have to be lean. I think you have to be able to anticipate the future and be prepared for it. I think you have to run your business as effective and efficient as you can. I think that it's very important right now that you do not rest on your laurels.
Yeah.
So people are coming through. Let me say one other thing.
Oh, keep going. Keep going.
I think that every business, whether it's mine or yours or the guy next door here, needs to, let me say this, any business worth its stock and trade is always taking an inventory. So they need to be reducing cost and increasing revenue right now, which is what? Preparing them for the next crisis. And I'm telling you, the next one's coming. And so, take that with the spirit in which I intended.
I understand. That's exactly right. So with that being said, we got another half of this 2020. I don't know if a meteor is going to hit us, aliens are going to hit us, or what? Because what we had before, it was like just right out of a movie, right? But it is what it is. So what do you feel for 2020 we can do like right now?
What we can do, or what's going to happen?
Both. Let's just talk both.
Well, first off, you are seeing businesses that are doing pretty good. There is, I don't know who put it out, but just a few days ago, there's certain businesses that are doing really good. So I think what you will see is this, and it will be probably, a lot of people won't agree with this. I think you will see above average consumer spending. And I don't want to get into that, but I think you will see that for the rest of the year. But You talked about this earlier, and I'll tie it into that. It's going to be a wild and bumpy ride, politically and economically.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I see, and then at that point, it's preparing for that.
I feel like what I told my team in regards to, when in the middle of March when this hit was, look, we still have a destination, we still have our goal, and like I said before, it's that goal might be, like you just said, a bumpy road to get to, but it's still a road, and we have to stay focused on that destination and that goal. I have to bring the energy. I have to be positive. I have to provide the right tools, and be patient and provide the training to make sure that we can do our best to still hit that goal. And if we don't hit it, that's okay. Let
me comment on that first
Sure.
off, because I had to do what you just said. I had to pull myself back in. It's real easy to get defocused. So one of the key things my father taught me, and it was probably the most important lesson he ever taught me, is I need to see it, and then when I see it, I can build it. When I can't see it, I'm just like a freaking boat out on the ocean with no rudder. I'm just floating here, floating there, whatnot.
No guidance.
The waves are pushing me around,
Right.
So as we're going through this situation, I had to stop. I had to take an inventory on myself and my business and say, okay, let's get focused on the end prize. I have to get focused there,
Absolutely.
right? And I can't let all this outside BS distract me, because what happens is now you're here, right?
And you're blaming other folks.
I need to be laser focused on here and not getting into all of this. All of these outside distractions. Where am I going? How do I get there? Let's roll.
And that's easier said than done. It's almost like, analogy, I'm really, really bad with analogies, but it's like last second shot, you get fouled, and the game is on the line, you're at free throws, and there's 30,000 people yelling at you to miss the shot, right? How do you stay focused on that goal? Because in middle of March, I didn't know what was going on. We just, our first quarantine, it was we had and when I have 8 people on my team and they're expecting me, and other agents too are asking me, what do you think, what's going on? I'm not going to tell them something negative, because I don't know. So I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to stay the course. And guess what? Once we get out of this, you can tell everybody that, you know what? Why are you complaining? Did you survive a quarantine? We're actually, and I don't want to say we're bragging, but because we did that and stayed laser focused, we're breaking records every month in regards to where we're at, and it's not that we're doing anything different, but we're focused, and the team. I want to get into this too, because you have something really cool you call it, which is Whiteboard Wednesday, and I want to get into that. But it's just, I'm just so proud of my team, and they have done such a great job with the adversity and not letting it get to them. I'm gonna get teary-eyed. But it's just awesome. It's just really, really cool, and I can't thank them enough.
I want to comment on that. That's great stuff, by the way. First off, I appreciate your emotion. I'm very emotional about my business. My business is tied to purpose. There's a bigger purpose.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that in a second. But there's a cage fighter, an MMA fighter called Conor McGregor. I'm sure you've heard of Conor McGregor, right? And you and your business and your team coming through this, surviving. My whole goal, survive and thrive, right? That's kind of our motto. It's kind of like Conor McGregor. He has all this confidence. So when you come through something like that, you survive, you're doing well, etc., you start gaining positive energy, you start gaining this confidence, and man, what a boost, right? Tempers your metal, forges your steel, right?
Absolutely.
So we don't like going through that process.
No.
We don't like going through that process.
No.
That's no fun. But when you go through the process, there's no bad things. You either win or you learn.
It's just
you either win or you learn, right?
It's just leadership.
It's just a stepping stone.
Absolutely. You win or you learn. And I can't say that, I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
Let me comment on the end goal. You said how do we stay focused on the end goal? How do I continue to be mentally focused? How is my mindset staying sharp when there's 30,000 people screaming at me, when I own a business and all the world is crumbling around me? How do I stay there, right? You have the emotion that you have, which is tied into purpose. So you have purpose is always emotional. then you have your company that is tied to a greater purpose than you personally.
Yes.
So your company has a greater purpose, right? And my company is about being of maximum service to my fellow man, which is a small to mid-sized business owner, which is the heartbeat and backbone of our country, right?
And it could be restaurants, retail. It could be
it doesn't matter.
Art. It could be
I have
whatever.
them all.
It could be anybody.
We have 3,500 clients.
Small business. It could be anything. It could be working at home. You could be working down wherever.
Everybody has a purpose.
Absolutely.
So once I tie that to that, then I'm working for and on something bigger than just me making a profit.
Absolutely. I love it.
That's how I keep focused on, right? I have a greater service to provide.
And if you focus, the profit will be there. And if it's, it's just stay in it's the journey. The journey is always that's the thing. The destination is great. But you know what? After that destination, guess what? Now I got another journey to go on because it's always going to be about the journey.
That's right. I love it. That's good stuff, man.
Next question. Before we get to the next question, let's take a quick break for our sponsors. We'll be back to discuss more with Joe, guys. We'll see you soon. See you in a second. All right, guys, we're back with Joe McKee with Invoteq, and we want to get right back into it. Joe does a pretty cool thing on Facebook, and I think you do it on Instagram as well. So it's called Whiteboard Wednesday, and he does some other stuff, as well. But for some reason, I like the Whiteboard Wednesday because he puts up some cool things on a whiteboard and kind of breaks down why he's got them up there. And one thing that you did, Joe, which really hit home with me, was after Michael Jordan's show that he had on there. Which was I just went blank talking here. The Last Dance. My bad. Just trying to think about the show. And
I think that was it, right?
It's called The Last Dance, and it talked about his insight. There was a filmographer that was with him for almost a whole time of his career, and it took him a long time to put all this together. But they kind of broke down, had a lot of interviews with a lot of players, and what came out of it was extremely interesting in regards to who he was, how he played, and all this stuff from a mindset perspective, from a leadership perspective. But what you did was after the series was over, basically you put together this little Whiteboard Wednesday about it, and you had about 4 or 5 words. And we're going to try, Matt, we're going to try to put, if you guys listen to us on YouTube, or if you watch us on YouTube, we'll have it up there to where you can see it. We'll kind of segue into that Whiteboard Wednesday post. But you had some of the things that you had written up there that kind of connected with the Last Dance was winner's mentality, unity, and teachability. And the reason why it really focused or really hit home with me was that's my business. That's what I have to have for us in real estate to be successful. Is the team has to be teachable. We have to unite. We have to work together as a group, and we have to have that winner's mentality. Especially coming out of this quarantine, and during it, you have to. They like I said, I was getting teary-eyed because they did not blink an eye, and they had their goals and their mindset was so strong. It was just extremely impressive. So talk to us about that, the Last Dance, and then basically that Whiteboard Wednesday with the winner's mentality and that stuff.
Anytime that I see something that's moving or that's got a lot of chatter, people are talking about that. So my kid plays AAU basketball, so I'm friends with hundreds, if not thousands, of AAU coaches. And obviously, Last Dance. So.
Oh, and by the way, guys, if you haven't seen his son, he has got some serious moves, and he plays extremely hard, and he's growing. So for his size, he's nasty. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He reminds me of Tyler Hero, don't you think? Would you put that together?
He reminds me. Well, he shoots
his
better
mentality,
than Tyler Ulis, but he reminds me of Tyler Ulis.
Okay, yeah.
I call him Tyler Ulis 2.0.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's good. I can talk about my son's basketball day. So my point is, something that's getting that much attention. How do I take that and look at it from a different perspective as an entrepreneur? How do I say, okay, look at this. How is that symbiotic to being an entrepreneur? So One of the things was I put on there, I think, was teachable.
Yep.
And nothing worse than hiring a sales guy or an employee, a teammate, whatever it is, who's not teachable, that they know everything.
Right.
That's just a recipe for failure.
Right.
And it jacks up your unity, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
So I never want to be the smartest guy in the room. I try to surround myself with people that are way smarter. And I'm not just talking about business, my spirituality, my whatever. There's a group of men that I hang around, and I am way down here on the spiritual tip, right?
And that's great because you learn constantly.
Absolutely.
Right?
I'm like, okay, just shut up and listen, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So,
I love that.
So in that, if I remember correctly, Michael Jordan was, they had another coach, I can't think who it was, before Phil Jackson came on, and Michael Jordan was like 90% of the offense. Give Michael Jordan the ball, that's the game.
Yep.
So when Phil Jackson came in, he talked about more of a getting Michael Jordan right to play, to have a process, to play as a team, to not to be only the focus. So he had to change, and he adapted. And I think you have to do that in business, right? So
all day
I have to
long.
remain teachable.
I have to change.
I have to pivot and adapt, right? So,
as I grow and as you grow, as I grow the business, I can't be doing everything, right? So I have to let go. I see so many folks micromanage, things, and you can't. That's okay if you want to run your business like that, but you wear yourself down. So keep going.
I'm fighting that now to micromanage. I got a new sales guy, and I know he's jacking up some leads, and I'm sitting there, just jump in. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no. I'll jump in and help him close the deal when I need to, but let him have his metal tempered, right?
Right.
So let's talk about unity. Phil Jackson was real big, and you talked about this earlier when I came in. You and I was chatting about the team working together.
Absolutely.
Everybody's on the same mission. Everybody has the same passion. As they say here in Kentucky, nobody rides on the wagon.
Yeah.
Everybody's off the wagon pushing, right?
Right.
And so unity, where everybody works together. If you get the guy or the gal, the employee, the partner, whatever, that's just there for the ride, it's just like an anchor, right? So unity is impossible.
Absolutely.
So when you look at Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, there was a real everybody worked together. And then what was the other thing that was there? Unity.
Everybody knew their role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They all were comfortable with the role. Steve Kerr, all of them, the centers and stuff. They knew their role, and they were okay with that because the goal was a winner's mentality, right?
Yeah. So look, Phil Jackson was in that general manager, which I can't think of his name, were excellent at doing that. Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, we talked about earlier. Am I working in my business? Am I working on my business? What am I doing?
Right.
So,
exactly.
Phil Jackson and that general manager did an excellent job of building a team that worked together.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So, you get I can't think of my team right now, but you get some team where he's he won't listen, he won't do it, he doesn't fit. Right.
Right. Right.
So my job as the owner of a company is making sure my team is gelling together. They're all in step, singing off the same music. So,
you got it. That's right. So that's like I said, when I listen to that, and there's a couple others, it's about 5 minutes long, but you had it broken down really well, and it's exactly, it's just the building blocks to grow it, to build a team and grow a business, just with this stuff. So that was great.
Let me comment on that.
Sure.
Shut up. So businesses fail because they can't generate enough revenue. They don't have enough money come in. Right. There's 3 million of them that went out of business because they didn't have a rainy day fund for the most part. And then revenues in direct proportion to sales. I don't care what business is in. And people think that businesses fail because of sales and revenue, if you ask most people, but that's not the truth. They fail because lack of accountability, lack of unity, lack of self-discipline. All of these are the core things why they don't have sales, and sales why they don't have revenue. And in turn, it's the nail in the horseshoe, the reason why you lost the war, or whatever that old analogy is, right?
Yeah, it slowly starts to just wither it. And we've had a couple of successful businesses. Well, I think they're successful, and and not in regards to revenue, because I don't know what they make, but just watching them and how they do their thing and grow. In both of them, they were the leadership was new and was focused on their part, and they let the other strengths or their other weaknesses. They had people in those roles that were strong, and they were extremely, they had a great unity, united in regards to their main goal, which was to be whatever that goal was. But and that's why they were so successful. They just they were good about taking risks, and basically they had a great mindset in regards to, this is my piece, this is your piece, and it's like that, and we're all cool with it, and we all have the same vision at the end of the day.
Good stuff.
All right, so we are to the point where we like to ask our guests some random questions. So we've got some, and they're not really that bad. So sometimes they're kind of cheesy, but we've got 5 random questions here for you, Joe. So if you're ready, we're going to go ahead. I think I already know this answer because you just brought it up. But let's see what you say. Who's your idol, and who do you look up to in basically life and business?
My wife.
Oh, great. Okay.
She's the strongest, hardest working, most disciplined, amazing person that I've ever seen.
I love it.
Period. My wife. No question. In business, I look up to my dad. But overall, even in business, I look up to my wife. She's our accountant. She's amazing. Yep.
I know. I feel you because my wife, she's our CFO, and I'm half full on everything. I'm the dreamer. I want to do 20 things a day. You know, and she's like, no, she's party pooper. Yeah. No, we can't afford this. Can't do this. That's not going to work.
Amen.
I'm like, you know, so But without her, we would not be. And just like the team, she's that piece that we talked about where I'm not good at that, and she's really, really good at that. But I'm giving her extremely, big credit here, and she doesn't think she gets enough.
Real quick, I'm out here with concepts. I see the long-term vision, and she's in here working on all the minutia to make this vision happen.
And I love it.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, and that's great because that's going to be successful because you both have your strengths and weaknesses, and you're together and you're on the same page. All right, so second question, what's your favorite quote? If you were to come back, I think I already heard it a couple times, but if you got one.
So there's a quote that I really like, and I don't know who the heck said it, but it says, let's see, I am wounded, but I am not slain. I shall lay myself down to bleed and rise to fight once again. So in Joe McKee's terms, that is just keep on pushing.
Yep. Keep on pushing. That's what you always say too. Keep on pushing. I like to say, well, we'll say that in a minute because before we end, I'll be saying what I like to say. But keep on pushing is great.
Yeah, keep on pushing.
All right. Here's dog person or cat person, Joe. Dog.
Not
All
even
right.
close.
Not even close. Gotcha. Soft shell tacos or hard shell tacos?
Hard shell.
Hard shell. I'm a soft shell taco guy. The only reason why because they break apart, then you got to use a fork and everything. So
hard shell.
Gotcha. All right, outside of work, I think I know this one too, but I'm not going to, I got to quit saying I think I know this, so I apologize.
You probably do.
But outside of work, what do you like to do?
Well, obviously it's hanging with the family, but hanging with the family usually is in direct proportion to youth sports.
Yep.
So I coach basketball, I coach baseball. Actually, that's not true. This is the first year that I'm not coaching baseball, and I'm just an assistant coach on basketball, which has been great. But yeah, youth sports, hanging with the family.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Love it. Yep. That's great.
Twin boys.
Really quick, guys, if you guys are looking for some business support and want or need some advice and stuff, Joe basically handles multiple states. We will have an email, maybe his website. We'll just have multiple ways to get in contact with Joe and how he can come in and give you guys some guidance in regards to where you should be, lean some things out, and just get you moving forward into the next second half of 2020. Joe, I really want to appreciate you coming by. This has been great.
Grateful.
We had a great time talking beforehand, and it's just your mindset is awesome, and and it's all about mindset. It's all about just win-win, and learn from the losses, but it's still a win-win because you learn. Right. So with that being said, thank you again. Thank you guys for joining. This has been Boss Talk. Can't wait to see you again. Do what you love what you do, live your best life, and we are out of here.